OpenAI recently released their SORA model, which is essentially Midjourney but for video creation. And in this video, I want to talk about a couple of the different use cases of SORA, as well as demo the platform and show you around a bit. So let's dive right in. So whenever you land on SORA, you'll land on this featured page, which is essentially just showing user-generated videos and kind of giving you a sense of what's possible with this platform. So if we dive in here a little bit, we can see that a lot of these videos are almost realistic. You can kind of tell, when something's moving and it blurs a little bit, but it's almost realistic. Like, this is basically at the level of realism. And so I think the most interesting use case for this is, think about, like, you're creating a YouTube video, you're trying to explain a concept, and a lot of times people will just like find random b-roll to put in the background that kind of relates to what they're talking about. But imagine if you were creating a video like the one you're watching today, but instead of having just some random b-roll, I could articulate exactly the visuals that would explain the concept that I'm trying to articulate. I could just create this in real time, and I could have exact videos that are guiding people on a journey through my video, giving them a felt sense of what I'm trying to articulate, rather than just having random b-roll in the background. The second one is like for filmmaking. Imagine an indie filmmaker. They're trying to pitch ideas to someone and figure out like what they want to produce. Imagine you can create like 10 different trailers using SORA of proof of concept ideas, and then figuring out like which trailer has the most emotional appeal, which one is the most hard hitting, essentially, and then actually going out and producing that. So it's kind of like a proof of concept for different movies or films. The last use case I want to talk about is for marketing and ad creative. So imagine you have like I articulate this in a lot of my videos, but imagine you have like an AI agent team that is going and doing work for you. A lot of these entry level roles may get replaced because you could have like an ad director or a media director at a company, handling the different marketing and inbound channels for them. And essentially at that point, the forcing function is only the quality of your thinking. So this ad director, with all of their experience in creating media and building influence for companies with media, they could essentially like ideate and articulate what it is that they want to bring to life, and they could bring that to life in a matter of minutes and hours instead of days and weeks. Like, imagine there was a video that you wanted to put onto social media. Rather than having to have someone go out and film it and plan it, you could just say, this is like the idea I'm trying to articulate for the company. Let me just create a video for that and just have it published, and we can test it, and by next week we'll know if it worked or not, and we can test something else, right? And so you can think of the speed to implementation and execution is just getting shorter and shorter. This is one of the core ideas that I try to articulate with this channel. Is that a lot of people get overwhelmed with AI. They see AI and it's just like so overwhelming to them because there's so many different tools. But what I argue is that it's not actually the cause. Like, AI is not the cause of that overwhelm. It's just amplifying what's already there. And so if you have a really strong direction, exactly, like for a filmmaker, exactly what you want to produce, SORA is going to be a crazy valuable tool to help you ideate that, create that, articulate that. But if you're a filmmaker who has no idea what they want to create, you're just going to get more lost. You're going to create a bunch of videos that have no coherence, no story, no direction. And so in that case, I think that the idea here is that every aspect of AI is bringing the speed to implementation shorter. So now I can just think of something and have a video of it that's basically real life, in the same way that I can just think of an article I want to write and have an outline. Or I can with OpenAI's new operator, I can just think of like, hey, I want to like order a table here, and it will just go order it for me, right? And so the idea is I have to know what I want first, and that is not something that AI can give us. So with that being said, I would want to go actually into how we will use this. And so let's say like I'm creating a video on agents, and I want to say like and a team of AI agents that are working for me as a one-person business. They are supporting me with my vision, but not creating the vision for me. I am able to scale my business faster without increasing headcount. And I want it to be 16:9, 480p. Let's maybe increase that. Well, let's just do the fastest model here to test this out. we'll create the video. You'll kind of see what ends up happening. It's probably going to take a minute or so here for it to finish, but I want to show you what's possible. Like, imagine I'm creating a video on AI agent teams. I can just type this in here and have B-roll for the background, of this video. And so at the core of it, a lot of people will debate, is this going to decrease human creativity? And my answer is no. It's actually going to increase it, right? There's a lot of friction that is in place in order to like have an idea and go like shoot a video for it. But this basically removes all of that friction. And maybe you still want to actually go out and shoot that video, but your creativity is going to increase because you're able to like see proof of concepts in real time before you actually go out and film it. So let's watch this video that it just created for us. An AI agent team that is helping me create a vision. It's kind of creepy if you ask me, but that's where the prompt engineering comes in. So now if we go back here, it's exactly the same. The quality of your prompts, how good this is. So if I say like, I don't believe it's the exact structure as Midjourney, but I'm just gonna put in like a Midjourney prompt to see what happens. So 4K ultra realistic. I'm going to say a man is sitting on some grass looking out over a vast mountainous landscape, contemplating the meaning of life. Make it as realistic as possible. And this time I'm actually going to do 720. I'll do actually 1080. I want to see how realistic we can get this thing, just recording this right now. And so let's dive into that. So you'll be able to see your library over here. It'll show you all of your videos that you've made. I've only made this one video. Now it's making the second one. I can kind of favorite. I can upload images and videos such that it can kind of like emulate those images and videos. I have not used that feature yet. But you can imagine you have like a new folder over here, and it's like film, XYZ title, and you have like a film that you're trying to make, and then you create a bunch of videos and put it into that folder, and then you use something like Final Cut Pro to edit those videos. And so I think another thing that could be really interesting, another use case that I've used Midjourney for particularly, but that you could use Sora for as well, is for like visioning about your life. And so imagine you could just go in here and you could like just create a bunch of videos, or you could look at other people's videos and say like, which one of these videos creates some sort of emotional appeal, excitement, inspiration in me, and then I could actually use that as a sort of vision board. Like this monkey judo thing is really creepy, but imagine I was like, okay, man in the clouds in a suit. No, maybe I was like, okay, brain cat. I'm just gonna scroll through this until I find something that feels inspiring. No, not yet. These are recent. Maybe if I go to featured, I might find one. And so the idea here is like I could just articulate what the vision is that I have for my life, and it could deepen my visualization and imagining of that, because I'm like, oh, now I have different ideas of what it would look like to actually live that thing out. So maybe I'm looking here and I'm like, oh, okay, that looks like a cool place. That kind of reminds me somewhere in Europe. Maybe I should like go to Europe and articulate what it is that I want to accomplish there. Or like maybe you're trying to vision about where you want to live, like what landscape you want to live in, etc., etc. And so, or like looking out over something. So it looks like, all right, here we go. Here's the video it just generated. Not bad. Looks pretty realistic. This person's looking out over a mountainous landscape. And so it looks like we can actually create a story now. And so this is the last one. It basically has its own editing features in here. So we can essentially take this, we can just describe all the things that we want. And then if we ask it to create it, we can essentially just create as many different scenes as we want here. And it will, create an actual movie for us and stitch them together. And so that's one of the really interesting use cases of Sora. And so I hope you found this video inspiring to see what it can do. Right now it costs, I think, $200 per month to use SORA because it's on their pro plan. So it's definitely cost prohibitive for most. But I imagine over time these models are going to get better and better, and you're going to be able to access this for free. There's already some video generation models like Luma, I believe, Luma Labs, that you can kind of test out for free. Luma Labs AI. But for now, the actual SORA one, they've kind of like gate kept it a little bit. But would highly recommend thinking about potential use cases of a model like this. So yeah, you can see Luma is kind of like the open source one.